श्रियद्वैतगदाधार शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्दा। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is a very special Srila Prabhupada book distribution marathon month going on. So I thought we'll begin with this bhajan which Srila Prabhupada wrote on Jaldut, Bado Kripa Koile Krishna. While we are singing that, we'll try to remember what Prabhupada has done for us. And if he had not done that, we would not have been sitting here. So therefore, I thought that since it is a book distribution marathon month, let us remember what sacrifice Prabhupada has done. And when we remember that, that gives us motivation to distribute more and more books in this marathon month. Srila Prabhupada book distribution marathon month ki jai. बड़ो कृपा कोइले कृष्णा अध मेरा प्रति कोइले कृष्णा अध मेरा प्रति बड़ो कृपा कोइले कृष्णा अध मेरा प्रति अध मेरा प्रति की लागिया नीले हे ठाकुरो ए बेगति 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 আছে কিছু কার্য তব এই অনুমানে আছে কিছু কার্য তব এই অনুমানে নাহে কেন আনিবে না এই উগ্রস্থানে, নাহে কেন আনিবে না উগ্রস্থানে। রজস্তমো গুণে এরা সবাই আচ্ছন্ন, এভরিবডি। রজস্তমো গুণে এরা সবাই আচ্ছন্ন। वासुदेव कथा रुचि नाहे से प्रसन्न, वासुदेव कथा रुचि नाहे से प्रसन्न। तबे जदि तब कृपा होए अहेतु की, तबे जदि तब कृपा होए अहेतु की। सकले संभव होए तुम्ही से कौतुकी, सकले संभव होए तुम्ही से कौतुकी। भावे बुझाले तारा बुझे से रसा, भावे बुझाले तारा बुझे से रसा। एता कृपा करो प्रभु कोरी निज बसा, एता कृपा करो प्रभु कोरी निज बसा। तुम्हारा इच्छाय सब होए माया वशा, तुम्हारा इच्छाय सब होए माया। तुम्हारा इच्छाय नाश मायार परश, तुम्हारा इच्छाय नाश मायार परश। तब इच्छा होए यदि तादेर उद्धार, तब इच्छा होए यदि तादेर বুঝিবে নিশ্চয়ই তবে কথা সে তোমার, বুঝিবে নিশ্চয়ই তবে কথা সে তোমার। ভাগবতের কথা সে তব অবতার, ভাগবতের কথা সে তব অবতার। পীরা হইয়া শুনে যদি কানে বার বার, পীরা হইয়া শুনে যদি কানে বার বার। रजस्तमो हते तबे पाइबे निस्तारा, रजस्तमो हते तबे पाइबे निस्तारा। हृदयेर भद्र सबे घुचिबे ताहार, हृदयेर भद्र सबे घुचिबे ताहार। কি করে বুঝাবো কথা বড় সেই চাহি, কি করে সেই চাহি। শূদ্র আমি দীনহীনা কোনো শক্তি নাহি, শূদ্র আমি দীনহীনা কোনো শক্তি নাহি। अथ এনেছো প্রভু কথা বলিবারে, अथ এনেছো প্রভু কথা বলিবারে। যে তোমার ইচ্ছা প্রভু করো এইবারে, যে তোমার ইচ্ছা প্রভু করো এইবারে। अखिल जगत गुरु बचन से हमारा, अखिल जगत गुरु से हमारा। अलंकृत करिबार क्षमता तुम्हारा, अलंकृत करिबार क्षमता तुम्हारा। तब कृपा होइले मोर कथा शुद्ध होबे, तब कृपा होइले मोर कथा शुद्ध होबे। শুনিয়া সবার শোক দুঃখ যে ঘুচিবে, শুনিয়া সবার শোক দুঃখ যে ঘুচিবে। আনিয়াছো যদি প্রভু আমারে না চাতে, আনিয়াছো যদি প্রভু আমার না চাতে। नाचाओ नाचाओ प्रभु नाचाओ से मते, नाचाओ नाचाओ प्रभु नाचाओ से मते, काष्ठेर पुतली जथा नाचाओ से मते, काष्ठेर पुतली जथा नाचाओ से मते, भक्ति नाही वेद नाही नामे खूब दारो, भक्ति नाही वेद नाही दारो, भक्ति वेदांत नाम एवे सार्थक करो, भक्ति वेदांत नाम एवे सार्थक करो, बड़ो कृपा कोइले कृष्ण अध मेरा प्रति, बड़ो कृपा किलागिया नीले हे ठाकुरो ए बेगति, किलागिया नीले हे ठाकुरो ए बेगति, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, राम हरे राम, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Vinod, Jaya Radha Vinod, Radha Vinod, Jaya Radha Vinod, Jaya Radha Vinod, Jaya Radha Vinod, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Subhadra Mai, Jaya Sudarshana, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Subhadra Mai, Jaya Sudarshana. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhu, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Radha Vinod ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baldev Sudra Maiya ki Jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. This is not needed. Screen is not needed. Oh, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we welcome everybody to this Sunday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are going to this morning discuss one of the very important sections of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the prayers of Bhishma Dev, Bhishma Stuti, and beginning with this verse 1.9.32. So what we will discuss today is first canto, ninth chapter, 32nd verse. Is it there, Prabhu? Is it coming? Okay, I'll just wait for that to come and then. Yeah, so 1.9.32 is what we will recite. Will Matajis be able to see that? Or maybe in your mobile phones, can we open Veda base and can we open 1.9.32, please? श्रीभीष्म उवाच इति मतिरुपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखम् उपगते क्वचित् विहर्तुम् प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः इति मतिरुपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखमुपगते क्वचित् विहर्तुम् प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः इति मतिरुपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखमुपगते क्वचित् विहर्तुम् प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः इति मतिरुपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखम् उपगते क्वचित् विहर्तुम् प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः इति मतिरुपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखम् उपगते क्वचित् विहर्तुम् प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः माताजी इति मतिरुपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखम् उपगते क्वचित् विहर्तुम् प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः Anybody else would like to recite one more? इति मतिर्वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखम् उपगते क्वचित् विहर्तुम् प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः Yes, Mataji, you wanted to try. इति मतिरुपकल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभूम्नि स्वसुखमुपगते क्वचित् विहर्तुम् प्रकृतिम् उपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhishma Dev said, "Let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Shri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created." ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So I'm very, very thankful to ISKCON's Cultural Center South Bengaluru for giving me this opportunity to speak something from Srimad Bhagavatam this morning for my own purification. I have absolutely no qualification to be able to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, but I heard once that with instruction comes empowerment. So when we are instructed to do something, then that also carries the power to be able to carry out the instruction. What we have to do is desire. That's it. Our desire should be there. Huh? And once His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj said one very nice point. I mean, this I can never forget. He said that when desire to serve is more than the capacity to serve, that's when empowerment happens. Can anybody repeat? When desire to serve is more than the capacity to serve, that's when empowerment happens. So these are the few quotes which are the savior of my life. Somehow we are carrying on in Krishna consciousness by the mercy of great acharyas. Before we get into the discussion of the subject matter today, I wanted to spend a few moments remembering what Srila Prabhupada has done for us. And that's why we began with this Markine Bhagavad Dharma Bhajan, which Prabhupada wrote on Jalduta. And I was discussing in some other class, in some other forum, that let's try to imagine Prabhupada's situation. Hmm? An old man going on a cargo ship. The cargo ship is like the goods train, the carrier train, equivalent of that on ship. He was not, not on a luxury cruise. He was in a cargo ship, and and seasickness, actually, my brother-in-law is a captain in merchant navy. So I hear a lot of things about how the sea can be rough, ocean can be rough, and it's not easy. And even young healthy people, they vomit like anything, and they face a lot of seasickness, when you see only water all around, right? It's easy to imagine, but it's very, very difficult to be in. Huh? So now you can only imagine. Once, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj was asking some brahmacharis in Chopati, do you know what Prabhupada has done for us? Then Gaurang Prabhu and some others were sitting and thinking, yeah, I mean, we can understand to some extent. Maharaj said, no, you cannot. Only when you will become 70, 75 years old, only then you will understand. Because for us, it's theoretically very easy to imagine, yeah, okay, he went there. I also sometimes go here and there. Yeah, what big deal? No, when we will become 70, 75 years old, and that time, what Prabhupada has done, then we will see where we are, right? So, and then Prabhupada, he's going through, he's thinking, he's wondering, I mean, I don't want to get into the meaning of this bhajan, but I encourage everybody, those of you who don't know, please read the meaning of this. This is one of those few poems, bhajans which Prabhupada has written, and he's thinking that I don't know why Krishna has brought me here. He must have some agenda because of which he has brought me here. And he's saying that I'm going to the Western countries to tell people about Krishna consciousness. And now we, after spending some years in Krishna consciousness, we understand how there are certain fine mellows or fine truths or fine rasa which we are able to sometimes relish. Imagine telling about that to a new person, to a Westerner who has no conception of God, atheistic civilization, and trying to tell such people about the highest truths of bhakti. Right? It's completely unimaginable. And therefore, Prabhupada is feeling, how is that possible? And you only have, drawn over them the curtain of Maya. So you only can, lift that curtain. And you only can make my power of speech suitable for them to understand. He's thinking like that. And please note, he's not thinking that, later ISKCON will be there and then, many followers of mine will compile this in Vaishnav songbook, and all of them will sing and they'll glorify me. He's not thinking that. He doesn't even know whether he's going to survive the next moment. Hmm? And yet, this is his consciousness. He's not like sometimes when in Vyas Puja offerings, we are asked to, make offerings. We think, okay, what nice offering we should make, what nice 2, 3 points here and there, some acronym, some Mataji sometimes write some nice song, in offering to Prabhupada or to Gurudev, and we put so much endeavor so that our poetry becomes artistic, or so that our poetry becomes intellectual, or so that our poetry has some nice points and people will say that, see how nice offering, Prabhu, very nice offering you did. Prabhupada is not having any of that in his mind. He is what he is thinking, he is just penning it down in that Jaladuta diary. One devotee once gifted me this Jalduta diaries. I have at my home. It's very amazing. It's there. BBT has published this Jalduta diary. Prabhupada's handwriting. It's very nice to see what Prabhupada is writing. And Prabhupada's, it is just a mirror of his consciousness. Hmm? And that too, he doesn't know whether this will see the light of the day, whether he will live the next moment. He's just whatever he's thinking, he is writing down. And what level of thought he has. What level of thought he has. And interestingly, Prabhupada has quoted Bhagavatam verses, that series of verses there which talks about the regular hearing and chanting of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Prabhupada is an Acharya who came here for books. Prabhupada came here to write books. What is the most important thing why Krishna sent Prabhupada here? To write books. And to such an extent he is engrossed in, that even in bhajan, even in poem, he is quoting Bhagavatam shloka. So dear Srimad Bhagavatam is to Prabhupada. And obviously we know that Prabhupada said that I am not going to America. Bhagavatam is going, I am going as assistant, as servant. Right? And so much so that even the other bhajan, Krishna Tava Punya Have Bhai, in that also Prabhupada ends up quoting Srimad Bhagavatam shlokas. We can just try to understand how Prabhupada is an empowered acharya for the sake of composing these transcendental literatures. And this is book distribution marathon month. As such, whole year. Now, so when we see the sacrifice of Prabhupada, when we see what Prabhupada has done for us, obviously we are filled with gratitude. If we are not filled with gratitude, means we are the lowest among mankind. Naradham. This comes in Mahabharat. When Yudhishthira and I think Narad Muni, they are discussing, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is telling that one who is not grateful, one who does not have gratitude, Kritagya, one who is not Kritagya, that person is the lowest among mankind, Naradham. And we know what Prabhupada has done for us. And therefore, if we are not grateful to him, we are not worth living. Now, if we have to be grateful to Prabhupada, we want to repay Prabhupada, we know we can never repay Prabhupada. So what is that simple thing which we can do at least? Whatever purpose for which he came, we can shoulder the burden of that purpose. So we should never burden the shoulder of the spiritual master. We should shoulder the burden of the spiritual master. The words are only a little bit left and right, but there is a gulf of difference. So we can do that. And then by doing so, we will be able to, in some way, show some gratitude to Prabhupada. So I could not resist beginning this morning's Bhagavatam discussion without talking about this importance of this book distribution marathon month. And when we distribute these books, it pleases Prabhupada like anything. And these are transcendental literatures. We should, in whatever capacity we can, we all know so many people. If we open our mobile contacts, we can just send some WhatsApp messages, SMS messages. We can say that, are you interested in Bhagavad-gita? We can do home delivery for you, whatever it may be. Yukti Purvak Prachar and Priti Purvak Vyavhar. As we always keep discussing, our behavior with everybody should be Priti Purvak. Nice, loving dealings with everybody. And our Prachar should be Yukti Purvak. Yukti means idea, innovative ideas. We should have innovative ideas. And so many devotees all over the world have come up with such nice ideas for distributing books. We all should make sure that in this marathon month, I often remember Radhesham Prabhu used to tell us that don't let this marathon month be a eyewash marathon. I wash marathon, this word he uses. I wash marathon means, yeah, marathon month came, went, and we also observed from a distance. Yeah, devotees are distributing nice books. Yeah, Hari Bol. No, we should take part in it in some way or the other, in whichever capacity we have. And that would be one of the simplest and easiest ways for us to say thank you to Prabhupada. Okay, so let's begin with this verse which we had for today. Shri Bhishma Uvacha iti matirupakalpita vitrishna bhagavati satvata pungave vibhumni swasukham apagate kvachit vihartum prakritim upeyushi yad bhava pravaha. Bhishmadev said, "Let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all powerful Lord Shri Krishna. He is always self satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created." So, again, I would seek blessings from all the senior Vaishnavas assembled here, and only by your instruction, I am having some courage to be able to speak for my own purification. So, as we discussed, this is one of the most celebrated sections of Srimad Bhagavatam, very, very important for sadhakas like us. Uh, and this section is called as Bhishma's prayers, Bhishma's Stuti. And this is the beginning of that, 1.9.32. And this is so significant. Actually, in the entire Mahabharata, it is said there are 5 conversations which are very, very important and thrilling. There are 5 conversations in the Mahabharata which are very important and thrilling. One is obviously, which is most important conversation in Mahabharata? Bhagavad Gita, right? The conversation between Krishna and Arjun. Right? That's the most important conversation in Mahabharata. The second is Yaksha Prashna, the conversation between Yaksha and Yudhishthir Maharaj. Right? That's also a very, very important conversation. It has some very nice question answers. That is the second one. The third one is Vidur Niti. So in Udyog Parva of Mahabharata, they are exchanging messengers. The messengers are going back and forth, discussing, okay, what is going on, whose minds and things like that. So at one point in time, Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra in his heart, he knew that, we are a weaker side because God is there, Dharma is there, Krishna is there, Dharma is there. Dhritarashtra knew this, right? And this mentality is very, very graphically revealed in the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, right? We know that, Dhritarashtra Uvacha, right? He's saying, sky is blue. What color is the sky? He's asking. Dhritarashtra is telling, Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra Samaveta Yutsavaha. He only is telling that the Pandavas and the Kauravas have assembled for what? Yutsavaha. Yutsavaha means with a desire to fight. He only is telling. And then he's saying, Kim Kuruvata Sanjaya. What did they do? He only is telling they have assembled to fight. So now what will they do now? Fight only. But he says, no, what did they do? That goes to show the mentality of Dhritarashtra, that how anxious he is, how tense he is. And he knows in his heart, जो गलत करता है, one who is doing something wrong, in his heart, in their heart, they know that something is wrong, right? So, and by the way, the other mentality is Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva, that Ved Buddhi which he has, right? But coming back to this, so Dhritarashtra was, very anxious. So he sent Sanjay, in Udyog Parva this comes, when the messengers were being exchanged, he sent Sanjay to the Pandava camp, to the Pandavas, figuring out, just see now if they are interested in fighting, because Dhritarashtra wanted to avoid fight, because he knew if fight happens, they are going to end up winning. Somehow he knew this. So he was very anxious and he wanted to somehow or the other, he was hoping to hear the good news that, okay, they have decided not to fight. So with that desire, he sent Sanjay to Pandavas, figuring out, okay, what's going on in their mind. And obviously, Sanjay, came back, and the answer which Pandavas gave was that even if they give 5 villages to us, we are fine. Because as Kshatriyas, they need a place to rule. But then when Sanjay came back, Sanjay did not tell this to Dhritarashtra. He wanted to wait for the next morning. He wanted to disclose this to Dhritarashtra in the court, in the assembly in the next morning. But Dhritarashtra could not wait. So in his anxiety, he called Vidur that night. And then he told Vidur, Vidur, you are a very wise person. Please tell me, what is politics? What is justice? What is fair play? What is to be done? What is not to be done? All this he is asking from Vidur. And then Vidur and Dhritarashtra, this conversation is another famous conversation called as Vidur Niti. The third famous conversation is in Mahabharata. Vidur Niti, wherein Vidur told a lot of things about politics, how to rule the kingdom, what is justice, what is fair play, what is right, what is wrong, and all. And then towards the end, Vidur said, but this is not the ultimate goal. He said the ultimate goal is to get out of the cycle of birth and death and to achieve Amrit Tattvam. And as soon as he said Amrit Tattvam, it comes in Mahabharata. As soon as he said Amrit Tattvam, Dhritarashtra's ears became attentive. Not because he was interested in spirituality, but because he wanted Amrit Tattvam for his children. He knew that they are going to die if the battle happens. But somehow or the other, he wanted to protect them, save them, and save his own life and everybody's life. So he became attentive and he said, oh, Amrit Tattvam, tell me something more about it. Tell me something about spirituality now. Vidur said, see, I am a son of a maid servant. I am son of a Shudrani. What will I tell you? I'm not qualified to speak on these spiritual subject matters. And then he prays, he calls for Sanat Kumar, who is also known as Sanat Sujata. Sanat Sujata, one of the four Kumaras, Sanat Kumar, who is also known as Sanat Sujata. So in Mahabharata, he is known as Sanat Sujata. And therefore, this conversation is famous as Sanat Sujatiya. So then when Sanat Kumar comes, then Sanat Kumar or Sanat Sujata enlightens Dhritarashtra with spiritual knowledge. He gives lot of things about our tattva of Vedanta sutras and everything. So that is the fourth famous conversation in Mahabharata. First is Bhagavad Gita, second is Yaksha Prashna, third is Vidur Niti, fourth is this Sanata Sujatiya. The conversation between Sanat Sujata or Sanat Kumar and Dhritarashtra about spiritual knowledge. And the fifth very important conversation in Mahabharata is this one, which we are discussing today. Conversation between Bhishma and Yudhishthir. And why not? Because Bhishma is a Mahajan. We know Bhishma is a Mahajan. So whatever Bhishma is speaking, everybody should pay attention to what he is speaking. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is speaking, we say Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Right? Why? So that everybody can be alert and attentive and pay attention, because somebody ordinary is not speaking. Bhagavan is speaking. Similarly, here, Bhishma Dev is speaking. And this is also one of the celebrated conversations in Mahabharata. And the three of them are so spiritually potent that Shankaracharya chose to write commentaries on them. What are those three? First is obviously Bhagavad Gita. Shankaracharya wrote commentary on Bhagavad Gita. The second is this Sanaka Sujatiya. That also is so spiritually potent that Shankaracharya chose to write commentary on that. And the third is, in this Bhishma Yudhishthir conversation, Vishnu Sahasranam comes. This is where Vishnu Sahasranam comes. Like in South India, Vishnu Sahasranam is very popular. I was sharing with somebody the other day that, many years back, my manager in my company, Oracle, that time, his father used to worship Vishnu every day by offering one petal of flower and chanting one name of Vishnu. Like that, he would chant Vishnu Sahasranam every morning. He was telling me like that, So, very glorious, nice thing. So that Vishnu Sahasranam actually comes in Mahabharata, and Bhishma Dev is telling Yudhishthir about that. And this is also so spiritually potent that Shankaracharya chose to write commentary on that. So these three things from Mahabharata, Shankaracharya wrote commentary on. Right? Anyway, so I just wanted to set the context that how in the entire Mahabharata, 1 lakh shlokas. How many shlokas Mahabharata has? 1 lakh shlokas. Right? There are 5 very important conversations. Right? And out of them, this one, which we are discussing today, is one of them. Bhishma and Yudhishthir. Okay. So with this context, let's begin what Bhishma Dev is having in his mind. So the first thing which we understand, just let's rewind a bit and go to some previous few shlokas. We know how Yudhishthir was so morose. He was actually blaming himself for this all Durdasha. So many people got killed in the battlefield of Mahabharata, and he was blaming himself, or because of me this happened. You see how a pure devotee thinks. A devotee, a Vaishnava, is always eager to take credit or blame. Blame. Eager to take blame, and always eager to give credit to others. And in the same spirit, Yudhishthir Maharaj is thinking, I am the cause of all this. And then everybody is trying to tell him, no, you are not the cause. You are. Even Krishna tells, but he does not understand. And Krishna, to glorify his pure devotee Bhishma, he takes Yudhishthir Maharaj to Bhishma on the battlefield. Wherein, what is the scene? Bhishma Dev is lying on the bed of arrows. And deliberately Krishna decorated all the Pandavas, as kings. And in the royal procession, he brought the Pandavas to the battlefield where Bhishma Dev was lying. Why he did that? Because Krishna knew that Bhishma wants to see Pandavas as the rulers. And when he will see that, he'll be satisfied. So Lord always works for the satisfaction of devotees, and devotees always work for the satisfaction of the Lord. So there we see that how Yudhishthir, who is righteousness personified, Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira is righteousness personified. Who is Arjun? Skills personified. Arjuna is skills personified. Who is Bhima? Power personified, strength personified. Who is Nakul and Sahadev? Loyalty personified. Their loyalty is personified. And who is Krishna himself? Well-wisher personified. I mean, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, right? So he is well-wisher personified. So here is the team of people who is righteousness personified, skills personified, power personified, loyalty personified, and well-wisher personified. Yet they had to go through so many sufferings in life. Correct? Their life was not a cakewalk. They had to go through so many ups and downs and left turns and right turns and not even sometimes U-turns. They had to go through. This teaches us a very, very important lesson that in this material world, sufferings are natural. Sufferings are natural. It's like, we are standing in the river, and we are complaining about being wet. Or if we are standing in the river, what else do we expect? Right? So by design, Dukhalaya Shashvatam. But what was that magic which Pandavas had? Because Krishna was on their side. See, because Krishna was on their side does not mean sufferings will not come. That's the point. Sufferings will come. In fact, many times when we take to Krishna consciousness, sometimes we see more sufferings in our life. Probably because of the cleaning process, probably because our anathas are coming out, probably because we have become more conscious to certain things, right? So that means that just because Krishna will be on our side does not mean there will be no more sufferings. No, material nature will show its color. Material world will show its color of sufferings. But the magic which will happen if Krishna is on our side is that the adversity will convert into prosperity. So because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas, or Pandavas were on the side of Krishna, therefore whatever adversities they faced actually turned into prosperity. That is what will happen. Not that, oh, no suffering will happen and life will be a cakewalk. In fact, sometimes when we see some devotees who are so effulgent and so wonderfully practicing Krishna consciousness, sometimes we think, probably, everything in his life is fine. Probably, he is not having any problems with his family. Probably his wife and children and parents and in-laws, everybody is cooperating very nicely. And probably his job is also set. Therefore, he is so nicely practicing Krishna consciousness. But actually, if you spend some time with that person, you will see he'll have his own share of long list of problems. So actually, that is true with everyone. What makes us a sincere devotee is how we are dealing with those problems. Otherwise, problems, what to speak of, simple people like you and me. Chitraketu Maharaj had a problem. Planet of the whole, king of the whole planet. He is having some problem. And he also had a conflict with his wife. See, you can imagine, Dhruv, the boy, Dhruva boy, wanted to sit on his lap. No, not Sidhu. I'm sorry, but this is the second one. So Uttanpad, Dhruv wanted to sit on Uttanpad's lap, you know, and Uttanpad, and this wife, Suruchi, she said, get out. And then the Uttanpad was helpless. That means he also was facing some pressure, from some other department, right? So Uttanpad, so imagine in everybody's life, and Chitraketu had everything, but not one son. So everybody has their share of problems. That should not be a reason for us to be sad. Rather, if we have Krishna with us, if we are with Krishna, then that should be enough reasons for us to be happy. Like, this sometime we got this message, right? Don't tell Krishna about your problems. Don't tell Krishna how great your problems are. Tell your problems how great Krishna is. Anyway, so this was one lesson we saw. Now coming to Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Mahajan is often misunderstood. Many times we try to draw so many lessons from Bhishma Dev. Oh, he should not have done this. He should have done this. See, this is why he was, he doomed. He took a vow, but he was so ignorant about the effect of that vow or the consequence of that vow. It's not bad to draw those lessons, but primarily we should understand that Bhishma Dev is a Mahajan, and we should also not misunderstand him. So he fought from the side of Adharma, and therefore he was to be killed. No doubt about it. So if we are on Adharma's side, no matter who we are going to be killed. In fact, that's what Krishna wanted to teach through him. Krishna wanted to teach through Bhishma Dev that even so at some place Prabhupada says that one Bhishma was equal to 25,000 Arjunas. I don't know how Prabhupada got that number, but somewhere it is, I heard. Prabhupada said that Bhishma was equal to 25,000 Arjunas. Even in that Virat Yuddha, when Bhishma, Dev, Dronacharya, Karna, everybody was there. And when Arjun single-handedly defeated the whole army, at that time, this Uttar Kumar, uh, when he goes there and gets the Angavastra of everybody, right, for his sister, right? So then Arjuna warned him, don't go close to Bhishma Dev. He's just acting because he wanted to respect my weapons. Uh, don't go close to him. Just go everywhere else. Arjun says. So Bhishma actually is very, very powerful. And Krishna wanted to teach this lesson to all of us for the entire time to come, that no matter how powerful you may be, invincible, nobody could have defeated Bhishma Dev, nobody could have killed Bhishma Dev. Hmm? In spite of that, if you are on the side of adharma, you are going to be punished and you are going to be killed. That's what Krishna wanted to teach. And he used Bhishma Dev to teach that lesson. And how great a devotee Bhishma Dev is, that he is not worried about his reputation. He is only worried about pleasing Krishna and satisfying Krishna in playing this role. Even at the risk of being misunderstood by generations to come. That is a devotee for whom the only concern is satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is Mahajan. Therefore, he is Mahajan. And also, we have to remember always one thing, that in any pastime which we see in Shastras, we should see that there are lessons at three levels. At Adhyatmic level, Adi Bhautik level, and Adi Daivik level. What is Adi Bhautik level lessons? Lessons which correspond to the living entities of the society. So many times we draw lessons at the level of society. Like for example, Bhishma. We say that, oh, that day in Asat Sabha, when Draupadi was being disrobed, Bhishma was quiet. And that was a mistake he did. As the leader, even though he was not the king, he should have raised his voice against the injustice which was happening. So this is a lesson which is to be learned for leaders or kings. So it's a social society wala lesson. So that's like a adi bhautik lesson to be learned. Then similarly, there are adhyatmic lessons to be learned. Lessons about our own mind and body, or our own self, basically. That, oh, in this situation, this is what we are supposed to do. In this situation, this is what we are supposed to do. And similarly, there are adi daivik lessons to be learned. That, oh yeah, there may be certain material lessons to be drawn, but there is always, we have to remember that especially with these pure devotees, there is a daiva, there is a divine hand. There is Krishna's plan which these devotees are acting according. So therefore, we should never ever make the mistake of thinking that, oh, Bhishma actually he did a lot of mistakes and he should not have done this, he should have done that. No, the primary understanding of Bhishma Mahajan which we should have is that he is the worshipable greatest of all devotees. But then Krishna wanted to teach that you may be Bhishma, you may be Vitrasur. Vitrasur was also, he's the greatest of devotees, Vitrasura. But because he is on the side of demons, because he is on the side of Asura, therefore he had to be killed. That can never be overruled. That can never be overpowered, be it Bhishma or be it Vitrasur. And in case of Bhishma, we learn one more, we have one more lesson, that many a times when we act, it's not the activity which what Krishna sees, it's the intent which what Krishna sees, right? So when Bhishma was offering, so Bhishma and Krishna, they have Veera Ras relationship, right? That chivalry, fighting spirit. So Bhishma is shooting arrows on Krishna in the battlefield, and to Krishna it is appearing as flower offerings, just like in Guru Puja when we offer flowers to Prabhupada. To Krishna it is appearing like that. Why? Because of the intent. So this action and intent is a very important thing to understand. And we can see 4 cases here. Let's think of a case when action is bad and intent is also bad. Think of some examples. Action is also bad and intent is also bad. Duryodhan, action also bad, intent also bad. Duryodhan. Okay. Think of case when action good, intent bad. Putana, very good. Action was she wanted to as if serve milk to Krishna. Very nice devotional service. But intent was to kill Krishna. Ramdas in Chaitanya Leela was chanting Ram, 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 Ram. Chaitanya, he was, I think, accompanying Sanatan Goswami or somebody. Yeah. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he neglected him. And this person, I think Raghunath Das Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, I forgot who was. He was wondering, why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu neglecting and ignoring this person who is chanting Ram, Ram, Ram? And then later he came to know that because he was chanting with a desire to become Ram. You see? So from outside, you never come to know, who is who. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mayavadi bhasha sunile hoile sarvanash. And neophyte people like you and me, we can't understand, whoever is speaking, who are they? Like these days, it's fashion also to hear a lot of things outside ISKCON and all that. This is fine, no problem, as long as it re-establishes our faith in ISKCON and Prabhupada. So this is called as loyalty and broad-mindedness. To say that, oh, ISKCON is the only place where we can get wonderful, nice lessons from, and everybody else is rascal and foolish and cheaters, that is wrong. But to go to the other extreme, thinking that, okay, no loyalty to ISKCON, no belongingness to ISKCON, and only thinking, just like ISKCON is wonderful, all of them are also wonderful, and I'm equally belonging to ISKCON as I'm belonging to everybody else. That is also like, nobody. That's also like, no man's land. In fact, it's because of false ego that we don't want to surrender to one place. It's because of false ego. Like His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in Journey Home book, I remember he writes that when he was going from one person to another, one guru to another, he gets this realization that is a spiritual life about going to different people and places and trying to take the best from everywhere, or is it about surrendering to one person? And then he decides to surrender to Prabhupada, right? So it's a very, very, sometimes spiritual principles, especially as the movement is evolving, our number of devotees are going to increase or decrease? Increase many folds. It's going to increase. But with that will also come a danger. And also, Prabhupada went away, disappeared from this Leela. Prabhupada's disciples, the current Vartaman Acharya Vrinda, how long will they be there? They'll also, after some time, they will unmanifest from this material world, right? And then will be a test of where is this movement going. And the responsibility lies on each one of our shoulders. Each one of our shoulders. In this regard, I just wanted to share this nice story, which I'm sure everybody would have heard at some time or the other. Once, one king announced in the village that tomorrow we'll do a nice milk abhishek of the deities, something like that. And he arranged to put a big pot, a big silver pot in the center of the village. And he told that everybody, from every house, they will put one jug or one lota of milk in this big pot, big vessel, which he kept in the center of the village. And he gave everybody one day. That in one day, from every house, everybody should bring one lota, one jug of milk, and pour in this vessel. And then we will collect the whole milk and we'll do abhishek or whatever was the purpose, right? And then, everybody was thinking, anyway, whole village will bring milk. If I bring one glass of water, who will come to know? Huh? So one family thought like that. And instead of pouring milk in that vessel, what they poured? Water. The problem is everybody thought like that. And next day when they, opened the vessel, what was inside? Full water only, no milk. Right? So that is the power of every individual. If each one of us are not very, very committed to Prabhupada, if we are not committed to Prabhupada books, if we are not very careful about following our sampradaya, we belong to a sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. We are not in yet another spiritual organization. They are also practicing spirituality. We are also practicing spirituality. No, we belong to a sampradaya. There is a mood of this sampradaya. We are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are Rupanugas. We are Prabhupadanugas. Right? And unless we are following their mood, unless we are loyal to their teachings, unless we are answering the questions according to the way they answered, we are getting deviated. And this we have to remind ourselves again and again, again and again. And this will happen. The tendency to deviate will happen more and more as the movement grows. Because the further we will become from Prabhupada, the further we will become from those who have personally taken instructions from Prabhupada, the more the danger will be. And therefore, there is a great responsibility on our shoulders. We don't want after 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, we don't want Prabhupada to cry that what these people do. And therefore, we have to read Prabhupada books. Therefore, Prabhupada said the 4 pillars of ISKCON. The first one is books are the basis. Books are the basis. If we are not regularly reading Prabhupada books, if we are not hearing from Prabhupada, then we may be starting our own mission. And that is a danger. And we may be thinking we are spiritually advanced. And that could be a problem. Anyway, coming back to action, I don't know why I went there. Coming back, so Putana is an example of good action but bad intent. What else? Okay, what is an example of good action and good intent? In general, all devotees, our intent is also good at times, and our action is also good only. Whenever we try to please authorities, whenever we try to please Krishna. What is the example of bad action, good intent? We just discussed. Bhishma Dev. Apparently, it appears he is on the side of Adharma. Apparently, it appears he is shooting arrows to Krishna and Arjun. But what is his intent? He wants to please Krishna. That's a special role which Krishna has given him to play. Yashoda Maiya. We just, Damodar Bandh just went by. Yashoda Maya is, throwing Krishna out of her lap. Is it pleasing to Krishna? I mean, Krishna is very nicely sitting in her lap and enjoying. But she is, taking Krishna off her lap, for the sake of the milk. Right? So apparently the action is unpleasing or not good, but the intent is actually because who was that milk for? For Krishna. Right? So action is pleasing. So therefore, we should never ever judge great souls by their actions. Great souls are not to be seen that much, but they are to be heard. Great souls are to be heard. And talking of hearing, we see what is Bhishma Dev saying in these prayers. And we see what kind of instructions Bhishma Dev has given to Yudhishthir. We see this whole Vishnu Sahasranam. And we see in these set of verses what is Bhishma Dev's consciousness. That goes to show and that goes to prove that what an exalted devotee he is, no matter which side he may be in. Now, if somebody asks why he was on that side, oh, that is Daiva. That is hands off. So, like somebody asked, oh, Kakai loved Ram more than Bharat. Ram loved Kakai more than Kaushalya. Just one not so fine day, things became completely opposite, and therefore Ram never blamed Kakai for that. Lakshman, Bharat, they all became very anti, right? They said, I disown my mother and this, that, and Ram became very angry. Hey, don't say like that. Don't dare you say like that. If you say like that, I will disown you, he said. Why? Because Lord Ram knows that, oh, this is Deva. He wants to teach there. Whenever something all of a sudden unexpected is done by somebody, this is another lesson we all should understand. Let's say there is a temple president who is an ideal personality, great leader, very, very loving, caring, giving shelter to everybody. And let's say one not so fine day, let's say the temple president acts in a particular way. And I'm just giving an example of temple president because I want to talk about Parikshit Maharaj. But now that should not mean that everybody in the temple now should not take swords. They see the whole package. Don't just see one particular behavior. And that one particular behavior could be because of any reason, which probably we cannot reason with logic. That should not make us revolt. That should not make us rebel. And that's the mistake which, this Shamik did. Shringi did. Shamik's son, right? Now, yeah, Parikshit Maharaj made a mistake, but we have to understand who is Parikshit Maharaj and what did he do before and what did he do after. Now, just for that one mistake, we cannot hold him responsible and accountable. And we should understand, oh, this was Daiva. This was some higher plan because of which things became beyond logic. Similarly, Kakai, overnight, complete opposite. Cannot be any logic, cannot be any reason. Yeah, we take lessons of association and all that. That's there. But then from Ram's perspective, Daiva. He's saying, oh, this is Daiva. Some higher powers. They, just did some adjustment in the brain. Finished. That's how we should see. We should not take. So therefore, great souls, we should never judge them from their actions. Anyway, we know Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyatena Bujhai. But even if it is apparently wrong, then also we should always see what. Therefore, Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, is it not, that even if one commits the grossest of the sin, for me he is still saintly if he quickly comes back to the same condition of practicing Krishna consciousness. Sadhur manyate. He say, Krishna is telling this. There is a reason why there are these shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, and especially for an organization, it is so important. Once one devotee asked one spiritual master, Maharaj, in ISKCON is an organization. So in organization, there will be posts and positions. Now, it may so happen that a subordinate is spiritually more advanced than the in charge. Let's say, right? It may happen at the end of the day, it's post, position, skills, and all those will also come into play. So this disciple asked Maharaj, spiritual master, Maharaj, sometimes it may happen that the subordinate is more spiritually advanced than the in charge or the head of the department or the president or whoever it may be. What to do in those situations? And Maharaj replied, cooperate. Because what kind of a movement will ISKCON be if you can cooperate only with pure devotees and nobody else? We have to respect the power of that position. We have to respect that that person is representing the parampara, representing the acharyas, representing the spiritual masters, representing Prabhupada. And we have to cooperate. We have to cooperate. Not that, oh, only when I get my in charge as a pure devotee, only then I'll follow. Then to an atheist will also follow. Just like, let's say if Krishna comes and starts showing some miracles here, Even atheists will believe in Krishna. Is that being Krishna conscious? Krishna consciousness means in our day-to-day experiences trying to see Krishna's hands, not in miracles. So even atheists can see Krishna's hands in miracles. Are you able to appreciate this point? Right? Even atheists can appreciate Krishna in miracles, but devotees can appreciate Krishna even in day-to-day experiences. Similarly, you know, even a gross Vaishnava, not very refined Vaishnava, can bow down to pure devotees. But to bow down to authorities, in spite of all shortcomings, because they are sincerely representing the parampara, that is a fine Vaishnava. It's very important. So yeah, so activity versus absorption. So we should always see activity and intent I'm saying as absorption, right? So Bhishma Dev's activities was involved as a statesman. Prabhupada writes in this purport that as a statesman, now he's the head of the Kuru Shrestha. He's the head of the Kauravas. Huh? More than the king actually. More than the king. So can we imagine how many things he had to be thinking of? How many duties he may have had? Which is what is also mentioned in the translation here, that amid so many duties, amid so many occupational duties, we can only imagine how many. I mean, a simple grahastha like you and me, we have hundreds of things to take care of. Monday to Friday also and Saturday, Sunday also. Sometimes bachelors also have so many things to take care of. I wonder, when you get married, what will happen? And then when you have children, what will happen? And I'm sure the elder devotees must be thinking, this guy, he doesn't know what life has in store yet. Huh? So actually, that's a reality of life. So there are so many things. Now imagine king and kingmaker. Vishwadev is kingmaker. Huh? How many things they must be involved in? And yet, what is the symptom of Bhishmadev's advancement? He is able to withdraw everything, his consciousness, mati, into exclusively focusing on Krishna. That is a symptom. Now we know we have given these device sessions, and when we preach to young people, we give this standard answer, right? Somebody says, "Oh, I will do whole life all nonsense. At the time of death, I will shoot myself with a revolver, and I'll say Krishna. Matter over. I remember Krishna at the time of death." What answer we give? That whatever you do whole life, that only you will remember. Number one, and number two, remembrance is not in our power. Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Only Krishna will give us remembrance. Now, if Bhishma Dev is able to remember Krishna at the time of death, if he is able to exclusively withdraw all his senses and focus them completely on Krishna, what does it mean? What was he doing whole life? He was absorbed in Krishna whole life. That's the proof. Life is preparation, death is exam. Somebody like me can, talk big things, but that means nothing. What is the quality of our consciousness? What is at the time of death our consciousness is tested. And death is one example, but it also adverse situations. In adverse situations, let's say when in a nice Vaishnav community everything is wonderful, it looks like a spiritual world, yeah, everything is going fine. But when 2-3 people start coming together and start serving together, that's when problems start coming. Prabhuji is saying like that, Prabhuji is saying like that, then conflicts happen. See, as long as we maintain distance, there are no conflicts. Correct? Only when we come together and when we serve closely, only then conflicts begin. And that is the test of Vaishnav community. That is a test of Vaishnav community. So, just like here, this is a test of his absorption, Bhishmadev's absorption. And since his passing away is so glorious, because he is a Mahajan, because he is cent percent absorbed in Krishna, therefore, so many great personalities have assembled to see this glorious departure. So, one devotee was sharing with me, just like, in Filmfare Award, there used to be these Filmfare Awards. In Filmfare, that Sitaron Ki Raat, I mean, the star-studded, what is that called? Star-studded event. The who's who of the film industry comes there, and then the greatest awards are distributed, right? Given away. Similarly, here, it's like a Filmfare Award of all these great souls. When all of them are coming and they are glorifying Bhishmadev and they want to witness the glorious departure for which Krishna is personally present. So here is one lesson. Our investment in Krishna never goes wasted. Krishna publicly punished Bhishmadev, but privately sent him to Goloka. Chetan Chandra was telling this once. Krishna publicly punished Bhishmadev, but privately sent him to Goloka. Because Krishna knows what's going on. And we should have such faith and conviction in Krishna. Even though the whole world may go against us, we know Krishna is there in our heart. And Krishna knows our intent and our sincerity, and he will do the needful. And what was the gift Krishna gave to Bhishma Dev? He is personally present in front of Bhishma Dev at the time of passing away. And of course, he also brought the Pandavas in the royal procession because he wanted to give pleasure to Bhishma Dev. So it is said Bhishma Dev was having mixed feelings at this time. He was having regret for Draupadi being disrobed. He was having the satisfaction of seeing Pandavas as the rulers now. And he was having the gratitude for Krishna being present in front of him. He was having these three feelings at this point in time. He was feeling regret, he was feeling satisfied, and he was feeling grateful for Krishna to be present here. Anyway, so let's come back to this particular scene wherein now the moment has arrived and Bhishma has understood, now I want to pass away, I want to leave this body. And now he is focusing all his energies, all his consciousness into Krishna. And Prabhupada translates mati as thinking, feeling, and willing. And we all know in our Discover Yourself course and in those sessions, whatever Bhagavad Gita courses we give, we always talk about the difference between a living being and a non-living being. And we talk about consciousness. And we say consciousness means thinking, feeling, and willing. This is where it is coming from. So Prabhupada's translations are not ordinary. Prabhupada's translations are not just that, okay, because even AI, I mean, our artificial intelligence and ML can do translation from one language to another language. Probably from Sanskrit, if AI tools were there at that time, Sanskrit say, and I mean, I know people are, searching, write some glorification of Prabhupada, and Chat GPT is giving some nice glorification. Really? One devotee sent on WhatsApp, you ask Chat GPT, we ask puja offering for Srila Prabhupada. And Chat GPT will give such answer, you'll feel, this is like a Mahabhagavat, Chat GPT speaking. So Prabhupada could have, if at that time those tools were there, probably Prabhupada could have, just translate them. But that's not what it is. It's not just some translation or just something from here and there. It's basically, therefore Prabhupada said that Krishna has written these books. Once when Prabhupada was telling this to somebody that, oh, these books are special, Krishna has written them. Then one disciple of Prabhupada, saw that this person is becoming a little uncomfortable. How is this possible? So he wanted to give some purport. No, what Swamiji means is that Krishna has inspired him to. Prabhupada, no, Krishna has written these. Prabhupada was very, very particular about the fact that Krishna has written these books. And therefore Prabhupada would, ask his disciples to read these books to him. Have you ever seen any author asking somebody to read his book to himself? They've never seen that. Because that's the beauty. So Prabhupada is translating here mati as consciousness, which is thinking, feeling, and willing. Prabhupada writes in the translation. Because that's what is consciousness all about. Yeah. And then here the verse says, Bhagavati Satvat Pungave Vibhumni. So who is Bhishma Dev focusing his energies on, focusing his all attention on? Bhagavati, on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has two characteristics Bhishma Dev is currently remembering. And in the subsequent verses, he is going to remember many, many more characteristics. What are the two he is remembering in this verse? What is that? Satvat Pungave. Satvat Pungave means leader of devotees. And the other one is Vibhumni. Vibhu. Vibhu means the greatest. So he is remembering Krishna as two things here. Leader of devotees and the greatest. Now in that context, Prabhupada writes in the purport that one who is a sincere devotee, who has no desire other than serving Krishna, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, who has no desire other than serving Krishna, Krishna personally leads that devotee on the path home back to Godhead. In that sense, he is the leader of the devotees. He personally guides and shows the way back home back to Godhead. We have that Tesham Satam Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Tenupayanti Te. So Krishna is telling that one who is an unmotivated devotee of mine, who is constantly engaged in my devotional service, what I do? Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I give him intelligence by which he can come back to me. He can come to spiritual world. So in that sense, Krishna is showing the way, leading the way. That's how leader of devotees. And then Prabhupada writes that actually Krishna is leader of everyone. Because nobody can even survive without Krishna. Krishna is the leader of everyone. But for others, Krishna is Upadrishta and Anumanta. Prabhupada writes in the purport that for others, Krishna is just a silent observer. Upadrishta is overseeing. Krishna is overseeing. And Anumanta, sanctioner. If I want to raise my hand, I have to desire that I want to raise my hand. And then that petition goes to Krishna. And only if Paramatma sanctions, this hand will go. Otherwise, all of a sudden, I may stop. I may not have the power to raise my hand. Hmm? So therefore, Paramatma sanctions, Anumanta. He gives permission, he gives sanction. So Prabhupada says that actually he is a leader of everyone, and with everyone he is doing these two things. He is overseeing their actions, silently waiting. Ah, acha, abhi ye kar raha hai. Ah, okay, okay. He is observing, and he is also sanctioning based on a law of karma and whatever else. But especially with devotees, what is he doing? He's actually showing the way from within. He's showing us the way. And now, very quickly, some practical application point about this, about Bhishma's example, which we see from his, as Mahajan, he is showing a personal example that even though he has lived his life doing hundreds of things as a statesman, as a military man, yet he is able to withdraw things from there at the time of death. So one important lesson for us to learn, as we already discussed, life is a preparation, death is an exam. We should live life in such a way that we are able to do this at the time of death. Now, if we are not able to do this for 2 hours every day, when everything is fine, can we do it at the time of death? Impossible. I have personally seen. I mean, when we are sick or something, when I'm not sick, I think, oh, if I become sick, it'll be so nice. I'll be lying whole day on bed and I'll be able to chant Hare Krishna. I'm honestly telling, I'm just confessing. That sometimes because life is so busy, I feel, oh, if I become sick, I'll get some excuse to be in hospital or to be on a bed and I can chant whole day. When that happened, I realized I could not chant even 16 rounds properly. That is the condition. Huh? So time is just an excuse. Do we have the taste? Do we have that absorption? Have we satisfied the great souls because of which we should have that taste? So in fact, if we are busy, good only. At least we are not busy with Maya. Our problem is not of time. If we feel, I mean, at least I am as a conditioned soul, I'm talking about myself. If I feel I have a lot of time, okay, one day give whole time and see what we do. End up doing all nonsense only. Very practical. Once, one devotee was sharing some japa tips. And he was telling, the moment we start chanting Hare Krishna, all planning, okay, tomorrow morning, we make a new routine during chanting. Okay, 4 o'clock, 3:30, wake up for the 4 to 6, I'll do this, 6 to 7. While chanting, we make the planning. Huh? How many of you have experienced this while chanting planning? So, this devotee was sharing that as soon as we pick up the bead bag, we start getting nice ideas. Even for preaching, we get good ideas. You see, book distribution month is going on. Some nice ideas for book distribution we'll get. All this is Maya's attack actually, because Maya is only trying to distract us from chanting. Now, do we still we acknowledge those ideas? What we can do is we can quickly just note them down and get back to chanting. But then this devotee was sharing some chanting tips. He was telling that as soon as you take bead bag, if you start feeling asleep, if you start falling asleep, or if you start getting these ideas, the test would be keep aside the bead bag. You see, all ideas will go away, all sleep will go away. Sleep goes away, ideas goes away. As soon as we keep aside the bead bag. What does it mean? That it was just something to distract us from hearing the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama. Similarly, right now, our mind may be giving excuse. Are yaar, I have this demanding office and this family, this, that. If only I had more time, I could have practiced Krishna consciousness even nicely. Do we think it's a matter of time? In fact, it is said, if you want more things to be done, give it to a busy person. A busy person can do more things, and somebody who's sitting idle, if you give something, he'll not do that. But if a busy man, if you give that, he'll adjust and somehow he'll do it, right? Similarly, it's not about time. Yeah, to whatever extent we can give more and more time, it's wonderful. But in our current situation also, whatever time we are getting, if we can give that quality time to Krishna, in relationships, what is the most important thing in relationships? Most important, be it husband-wife relationship, be it father-children relationship, be it our relationship with Bhagavatam, be it our relationship with holy name. What's the most important thing? Quality time, nothing else. That's the best gift we can give to anybody in any relationship. Gift of time. Most important. Similarly, in our relationship with Krishna, what is it that we want to give? That quality time. For 2 hours, 3 hours every day, whatever we can. And we have to. So, if we are so taking lesson from Bhishma Dev, we understand, oh, this is ideal passing away. to be able to focus completely on Krishna. But we know this will not happen unless we are able to practice it throughout our life. So once, one senior devotee was telling, just like in engineering colleges, and I'm sure in medical colleges also, we have mid-sem, end-sem, mid-semester exams, end-semester exams and all that. And even in schools these days, we have this continuous assessment. Like in our times, what used to happen? Half yearly exam, final exam, matter over. Now, every other day test, and all of that contributes to the final marks, right? Because this is called as continuous assessment. Similarly, in our life, unless we are able to daily practice chanting Hare Krishna, and at least for those 2 hours able to refrain our mind from anything else, unless we do this net practice, how will we play the World Cup final? Harenge na? We lost. So that's what will happen unless we do. And therefore, we should take this daily chanting so seriously. Yeah, we will have 100 reasons to not being able to do that. We'll have days when we are not able to. But the goal can be out of reach, but it should never be out of sight. Can we repeat? Goal can be out of reach. Are hum kidhar hai? Ye goal, where is the goal? Being Krishna conscious, becoming a pure devotee, being able to chant nicely. That is a very lofty goal. Goal is out of reach, yes, but it should never be out of sight. If it is in sight, then at least we can work towards it. We can do something about it. Oh, this did not work, let me try this. This did not, oh, this routine did not work, let me try that routine. No problem. This is the struggle in Krishna consciousness. Wonderful. We are making advance. By struggling also, we are making advance. And we see in many temples in South India, there is a tortoise at the entrance. We have seen that. Many temples, tortoise is engraved in the stone. So I was asking Raishambru once, what is the significance? He was telling that tortoise actually represents, because tortoise can take out hands and legs, and also whenever needed, he can take the hands and legs inside in a shell, right? So a devotee is supposed to be like that. A devotee knows when to exhibit my senses fully and when to withdraw my senses. So let's say when we are in our office, we are with some materialistic colleagues. Should we exhibit our whole senses fully? अरे एनीवे इस्कॉन में मौका नहीं मिलता, आज मौका मिला है, चलो full wholesale we exhibit ourselves. No, we should withdraw our senses from there. On the other hand, whenever we come to temple, whenever we stand in front of the Lord, whenever we are with devotees, whenever we are singing, dancing, chanting, that time eyes, ears, nose, smell, every touch, everything should be fully awakened, so that we can consume Krishna from all our senses. भर लो एकदम अंदर ठूस ठूस के, like, you are understanding what I'm saying, right? So it's like in all our holes, we should fill the supreme hole. We should fill all our holes with supreme hole. Who is the supreme hole? WHOLE. Supreme hole, WHOLE. Krishna. And our holes, HOLE. Eyes, nose, ear, all these things. Mouth. We should fill our holes with supreme hole. Then we will become Krishna. Now, there are two things, and this is probably the last point, and we'll have some question answers. See, Bhishma Dev, it was his duty to be engaged in so many things. Even there, we should know how to, on a daily basis, keep aside some quality time for Krishna, so that at the time of death, we are able to do whatever we are supposed to do. Ante Narayan Smriti. Many times, we may also create some self-created duties. Self-created duties. We should be conscious of avoiding them. And for that, we need guidance from our seniors. Oh, this which you are doing, it's not your affection, this is attachment. You are going too much that side. So how to differentiate between affection and attachment is important. And seniors, our mentors, our facilitators, they can help us understand that this is your duty. This is a little too much. Better you focus on Krishna. Because otherwise, if we let our consciousness branch too much, what is that? No, not that. Vyasatmika buddhi. How does that begin? That's how it begins. Vyasatmika buddhi eke hakurunandana bahushaka yanantascha buddhyo vyavasayinam. Krishna says that if our consciousness is multi-branched, we will not be able to focus. And once I think Jayadvaita Maharaj or somebody was giving a very graphic example. He was telling that imagine when we are traveling in trains. Let's say we are going from here to Jagannath Puri or to Vrindavan in train. Now I'm like, from a Baniya family, that way. So Baniya, Marwadi, Gujarati, these people, if you see, they travel very heavy. 2-3 bags will be of food only. If you see any of us traveling typically, 2-3 handbags will be of food. Whole journey will keep eating. So let's say if somebody is traveling with 10 bags, huh? 2-3 suitcases, 2-3 handbags, 1-2 water bottles and all that. Throughout journey, first of all, when we board the train, what we do? We somehow settle all the luggage. Something under here, something under here, something here and there. Now, throughout journey, what we keep doing? Every 1 hour or so, okay, so, teen, char, then again after 1 hour, ek, do, okay, like that we check. Now, what's happening? Are we able to now focus on something else? If we have more luggage, our consciousness will get branched. See, sometimes these graphic examples make some very important life lessons very easy for us to apply. When our consciousness gets branched, otherwise consciousness branching does not mean what it means. This is what it means. Now, because we have so much luggage, our consciousness is getting branched, and throughout the journey, instead of some reading, hearing, or spending some quality time with family members, we are only again and again revisiting our luggage. So that becomes like a very, very heavy traveler, and makes it difficult to focus. Similarly, in our life, there are some unavoidable duties which we have to do. Now, should we do those duties as burden? No, we should do those duties with full enthusiasm and excitement, because we should see them as something to please Krishna. Otherwise, if we do something as burden, we will be able to do for 1 day or 2 day or 3 days, not for an entire life. Therefore, we should not see our occupational duties as burden. We should see occupational duty in Krishna consciousness as something wonderful to please Krishna, as something which I am doing on the behalf of Krishna. Now, that's about those things which, according to Shastras, I am supposed to do. We should be careful about taking up extra things which I am not supposed to do. Okay, my son has grown up. Now he can live his own life. I have given all training. He can live his own life. Now, again, to all my one part of my consciousness to keep, just like we have these RFID tags. These days, what is that Apple one product is there now? You can keep in your bag, and then you can do GPS tracking of your bag. Or you can keep one tag here, and you can keep tracking each and everything. All the technology is there. So like that, we should not make tukda pieces of our consciousness, and one consciousness has gone with my son to America, one consciousness has gone here, one consciousness has gone here, one consciousness is here. We should not do that. We should try to, anyway, we have to do it for those things which are unavoidable duties, but for others we should try to preserve. And even for unavoidable duties, therefore daily sadhana is so important, so that at least for that much time we can forget everything else. Whole day we can't forget everything else. That will be irresponsible. Detachment is not irresponsibility. Detachment is not carelessness. And to strike a right balance is important. Now, striking a right balance is not just about sitting here or speaking, or sitting here and listening. It is about being conscious of our day-to-day choices. And it's also about approaching our seniors and becoming open to them. This is my life. What do you think? Am I in Maya, or am I trying to practice Krishna consciousness nicely? Sometimes we want to hear good words also, na? Nani, okay, everything is fine. Don't worry. You are very making nice progress. Wonderful. We want to hear good news also about ourselves. Is it not? Krishna consciousness is not about just self-dejection. Oh, I'm nothing. I'm nowhere. After 20 years also, I'm nowhere. So, kiya kya 20 years? What did you do 20 years? Now, humility is one thing, because as we advance, humility will come. But that does not mean that we are not understanding only that we have made some progress. No, we should look back and see, okay, good, thankful to Krishna, thankful to Guru, that even a nonsense person, even a rascal like me, has made some progress. That actually makes us more humble, if we remember because of whom it has come. But it's important to check our life either on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis, or on a monthly basis. Where am I? Where am I going? Am I going in the right direction? Like in the beginning, we began with these deviations which may happen even within ISKCON. So we know this Gajendra pastime, wherein the Gajendra's leg was in the mouth of the crocodile, correct? Now, crocodile could mean three things. One crocodile is the crocodile of sufferings. Another crocodile is the crocodile of material existence only. Whether good thing or a bad thing, it's actually material existence, as long as it's like, mode of goodness is gold chain. I mean, not this chain. We are shackled. We are bound by the chains. Mode of goodness is gold chain. Mode of passion is silver chain. And mode of ignorance is iron chain. But all three are chain only. Similarly, one level of understanding of crocodile is, okay, some sufferings which come in our life. The other level of understanding is, our whole material existence only is that crocodile. Maya Jhapatiya Dhare, the crocodile of Maya. And the third level of understanding is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Kesadas Kaviraj Goswami compares all these different schools of thoughts and philosophies to be like crocodile. So, depending on who we are, where we are, at what stage in Krishna consciousness, we may have different crocodiles in our life. Similarly, depending on where we are in our Krishna consciousness, we may have different deers in our life. Deer, Bharat Maharaj. We also may have some deer. A new person will have some deer. A 10-year-old practicing Krishna consciousness will have some deer. A 30-year-old may have some deer. So our deers keep changing, and we have to be consciously figuring out, oh, this is a deer in my life. Or our crocodiles may also keep changing, and we have to understand, hey, which is the crocodile I have inside right now? Right? So, yeah, so I think I will end here, 10 o'clock. If we can have some maybe comments, Prabhuji's, Narey Chandra Prabhu, Viva Krishna Prabhu, if any corrections, or I'll be happy to take. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
We can assess ourselves quite frequently, because that's where I lack.
Anytime Prabhuji speaks, I feel like, just getting up and, falling at his feet there. Of course, I'll just, try to share some things which I have read or heard. Like there are several things. One thing is, one litmus test is that how disturbed we are by changing material situations. So, it's like in one sense, so two things are there. One is how to assess, are we on the right path? Are we making the progress? Is my consciousness evolving in the right direction? And the other is that, am I doing the right thing? So I'll just combine both of them, and I'll try to say some points which I have seen or heard. One is that if we are getting disturbed by changing material circumstances, once somebody asked Prabhupada, what is a symptom of spiritual advancement? And Prabhupada said that if we are not disturbed by changing material circumstances, then we are making some advancement. So that is one point, how disturbed we are with changing material circumstances. Second point, if we have to understand, are we doing our sadhana well? Are we on the right path? Then we have to understand, are we chanting nicely? Prabhupada himself said 99% of our advancement takes place by chanting. So, we can be on ground, simple. We can be on ground, we can ask our chanting. We can ask ourselves, what's the quality of my chanting? What's the quality of my morning program? Am I spending good quality time with Krishna? First, certainly through chanting, and also with Bhagavatam. Okay, if not, I am able to not read daily. At least am I able to read once in a week? Whatever it may be. But these are again some criteria. Third, like Raisham Prabhu does this workshop SRCGD, Sri Radha Consciousness Gaura Dances. Right? So S is, can correct me, Son Gauri Prabhu, if I go wrong. S means, and these are again some tests. S means how eager I am to serve versus how eager I am to be served by others. We can always ask ourselves that question every now and then. खाली बैठे कुछ करने को नहीं, क्या पूछा आपने को? Okay, how eager I am to serve versus how eager I am to be served. These are our time pass things we should do. Or how eager I am to respect others versus how I am eager to be respected. अरे मैं टेम्पल आया, मेरे को किसी ने bow down नहीं किया, हाँ? How is this possible? Like that. Or see, care. How eager I am to take care of others versus how eager I am to be cared by others. Like many times we make ourselves a very sensitive, emotional person. अरे प्रभु जी, he did not behave nicely with me, he did not do this to me. अरे मैंने इस्कॉन के लिए इतना कुछ किया, इस्कॉन ने मेरे के लिए क्या किया? ISKCON used me and threw me. Management should learn whatever lessons they have to learn, but every devotee should understand why you have come to ISKCON. Have you come to ISKCON for emotional satisfaction? Yeah? If that happens, wonderful. But we have come to ISKCON to become a better devotee. If we become a better devotee, we'll be able to focus on the right things. We have come here not to prove, but to improve. So see, then G, gratitude. Am I becoming more and more grateful increasingly day by day? Or am I becoming more and more complaining person? अरे ये ठीक नहीं, वो ठीक नहीं, this is a problem, that is a problem. 3 cancers of heart. complain, compare and criticize. So is my gratitude increasing day by day? And D is dependence. Dependence on Krishna. Like whether in my good times or in bad times. Like I've seen Prabhuji himself, sharing in those classes when the temple had to be constructed. And I'm sure even right now there'll be hundreds of things. Prabhuji was telling in the class that Krishna will do. We have to depend on Krishna. So are we having that consciousness on a regular basis? So that's the third thing, SRCGD. Then another thing is that, are we able to see Krishna in time? TIME time. As we grow in spiritual life, first we are able to see Krishna only in temple. Then we should also learn to see Krishna in individuals. Are we able to see Krishna in individuals? Then we are able to see Krishna in material nature. And then we are able to see Krishna in events. And that's even very, very wonderful. Like when we are able to see Krishna in events in our life, something good happened, something bad happened. Once somebody asked His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Narad Muni's mother passed away. And you said that Narad took it as mercy of Krishna and left his home and, became Narad Muni. So then this devotee asked that, if a near and dear one passes away, how can you see that as mercy of Krishna? I mean, this is like too much, right? I mean, imagine, yeah, we may not have any near and dear one, and for us it may be easy to say. But if really somebody very really loved one, that person passes away, how to see that as mercy? And Maharaj said one very nice point. He said that if by that act or if by that event our determination to practice Krishna consciousness has increased, then we have taken it as mercy of Krishna. Taking it as mercy doesn't mean to be happy about it. Are mera pitaji mar gaya. Yes, good. Yeah, now I'll practice. That's not what it means to take it as mercy of Krishna. We can be sad. We can cry. All that is natural because a Vaishnava is a soft, heart is soft. But our determination to practice Krishna consciousness should increase. If that has happened, then we have taken that event as a mercy of Krishna. And I'll just add with one more sentence. Another thing is about, let's say we are, two more things. If we are happy in practicing Krishna consciousness, then we should ask ourselves, where is this happiness coming from? Is this happiness coming from the fact that I have good salary? Is this happiness coming from the fact that ghar mein koi jhagda nahi ho raha hai, there are no fights in home and therefore things are peaceful? Is my happiness coming from the fact that everybody is following my instructions nicely? Because if happiness is coming from this, then it is just a matter of time then this will change and then we will be miserable. So this happiness is illusory happiness. So if we are happy in Krishna consciousness, we have to ask ourselves, where is this happiness coming from? If the happiness is coming from devotees, that we are able to come together and chant, we are able to come together and glorify Krishna, we are able to come together and hear about Krishna, we are eagerly looking forward to that. Or if the happiness is coming from chanting, from Srimad Bhagavatam, from serving, then it is real happiness. Otherwise, it is illusory happiness. So this also we should ask ourselves. Khali baitha hai, pooch rahe, happy ho, kyun happy ho? Not too much analysis, but we should be aware. And last point is, let's say if we are happily engaged in services, because that's one important aspect of Krishna consciousness, to happily engaged in services. Is my happiness coming because I'm getting name, fame, and glory in this service? Or is my happiness coming because of service? Because of the serving attitude? What is the test? When that service is taken away from me, how do I feel? When that service is taken away from me, how do I feel? Or when somebody else doing the same service is glorified, how do I feel? Like that. So, yeah, Prabhuji, I just shared some points there. Yes, Shiv Balaji Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful insights, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you mentioned about multiple baggages that we carry. Could you just re-emphasize on what is the best way to ensure that we have a light?
Yeah, very good question, Prabhu. Sorry, I just spoke, because it's easy to speak. So, there are some baggages which are unavoidable, and we should not see them as baggages. We should see them as burden of love, right? Like, for example, as a householder, I can speak from a householder's perspective, and I'm sure all of you agree with me. As a householder, we have a house to run. We have so many things to take care of in the house. We have a job, like PDF, we say, right? Profession, devotion, and family. PDF. That PDF we should always have in our laptop. Profession, devotion, and family. Right. So we have to take care of profession. That's one baggage. Unavoidable till certain years. Depends on our financial, planning and all that. Then D, devotion. I'll not call that as a baggage for now in this context. And then F, family. Right. We have that. So those things are our occupational duties, and Krishna is eagerly looking forward to us to discharge those duties nicely. But now there, if we are not remembering simple living and high thinking, right? If we are, let's say, for example, let's say somebody wants to make a big house. Like in, many years back in Pune, in Nityanand Sabha, we did this drama of one wife arguing with the husband, or you can see the other way or whatever it may be. Oh, we should have a big marble altar and we should have a big car. Why we should have a big marble altar? So that we can serve Krishna nicely. And we should have a big car with a driver, so that when devotees, so many devotees keep coming to Bangalore, so it will be nice seva to, take them around here and there. Nice seva. Is this seva or not? Yeah, I mean, nice seva. Both intent is wonderful. But Yukta Vairagya means, does not mean that you get things and use them in service. It means whatever you have, use in the service. That is utility is the principle. That whatever we already have, we should use that in the service of Krishna. Now, if we don't have 100 things, we may not have 100 things. Somebody may have a big bungalow, somebody may have a big car, somebody may have drivers, somebody may have so many facilities which they are wonderfully using in service of Krishna. We should not become envious or jealous, or we should not feel that emptiness, or we should not work over hard, prayas, over endeavor to get those things if that is not in our temperament or if that is not in our destiny. Now, how will we decide whether it is in our temperament or destiny? Time. 10 hours. I cannot spend more than 10 hours for money. If somebody can give me marble altar for free, I'll say, please give me, no problem. But it will not come for free. I'll need to earn money. If I need to spend more than 10 hours for earning money, that is prayas. And that's the extra baggage which I'm now carrying. So the best formula is formula of time, because ultimately 24 hours is all that we have. How to decide what is too much and what is too less? Time. 10 hours. If I am having to give more than 10 hours every day, I'm taking including travel. If I am having to give more than 10 hours every day on a daily basis, emergencies may be there, release may be there, firefighting may be there in office, those ups and downs keep happening. On a daily basis, as a part of my routine, if I am having to give more than 10 hours for earning money, that means I have made ambitious goals beyond my adhikar. Or that means I am, or if I'm not doing that, then I'm also maybe becoming lazy or whatever, right? So it's that way. So I think simple formula would be time, Prabhuji. And also we have senior devotees to tell us like what is our duty. Like for example, let's say there is an old mother-in-law. Daughter-in-law, when a new, I'm sorry, I invariably go to this mother-in-law, daughter-in-law thing. But when the daughter-in-law has got newly married, then the mother-in-law has to teach so many things and everything. But let's say now daughter-in-law is now 10 years old married, 20 years old in marriage. Now also if mother-in-law is, completely involved into day-to-day matters or day-to-day affair, or it could be father-in-law, whoever, then that's like unnecessary baggage. We have to ask them, "Arey, chodo yaar, dusri jagah dhyan lagao." Otherwise you will spoil their life and your life both. You don't want people to pray for you to die. We have to become such, I mean, of course, I'm not yet in that situation, but I'm only hoping and praying that when I become an elderly person, I want to be such a person that, or even now, whoever is around us, they should not pray for us to leave. Ever since this person has come in this service, our life has become hell. Or ever since he has come in our life, the life has become hell. Better he goes away. We want to leave such an impact on people around us. We want to be such a helping hand to people around us and not a botheration to people around us, that they don't pray for us to go away or die. So we have to, this is another thing. What is the impact of me on others? Am I becoming too much interfering on others? That could be another baggage which you may have. Yeah, and there are some other things, but I think time is falling short. Yeah, I think we should end here because it's already 10:15. Hare Krishna. Unless there are any comments from Prabhuji sitting there. Murari Prabhu, if you have anything. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you
Yantra
so
Srimad
much.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Let us all express a deep gratitude from the core of our heart for both the speakers today by loudly chanting once Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Kannada class was given by His Grace Ashokot Prabhu. So, and English, we all know His Grace Vyasacharya Prabhu. Last Sunday, we had announced about Hare Krishna Prabhu's brother, Satram Amarchanchuk, who was admitted in a critical situation. Prabhu's brother left his body on the 5th of December, and the family is requesting prayers from this August assembly. So let us all once chant Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have multiple sponsors, Prasadam sponsors today, and they're all seeking blessings. We have Ashwin Krishna Javalkar Prabhu, who was sponsored because of his father's, on the occasion of his father's death anniversary. We have Sindhu B. Raj, who was sponsored on occasion of her daughter Savita's birthday. We also have Prasadesha Prabhu, who was sponsored Prasadam. We have Shrikant Prabhu, who was sponsored Prasadam. We have Chandramukhi Mataji, who was sponsored and requesting prayers for her daughter Sahana Swagat on her marriage, which happened yesterday. We also have Sankarshan Priya Prabhu, who was sponsored Prasadam on occasion of his daughter Vaishnavi's birthday. Then we have Krishna Prabhu. I think they're celebrating their marriage anniversary tomorrow. Krishna Prabhu and Himani Mataji, they are also requesting prayers. We also have Shandila Rishi Prabhu, who was sponsored Prasadam and is requesting prayers for his wife's, I think Mataji's surgery was yesterday, probably. So Prabhu is also requesting prayers. So let us all once chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for these devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As announced last time, we have a wonderful line of speakers that are coming up. On 16th, we have His Grace Bhima Prabhu, who will be addressing us. And we also have His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, who is coming on 29, 30, and 31st, who will be addressing us. And that is this month. And we all know it is Gita Yagya, that is on the 23rd of December, that's a Saturday. So we have Shastra Dan, which was announced last time also. The devotees, ourselves or our near and dear ones and friends who want to sponsor Bhagavad Gita, they can reach out to us so that we can ensure that the Dan which has come to us, we can use that to sponsor Bhagavad Gita to those who are not able to purchase. So please ensure, pass on this information. I think the flyers is in the group. So please pass on this information to as much as possible. Yeah, we have the flyer here. If you see 10 Gitas, it is 3,025. Likewise, all those devotees, your friends or near ones who don't want to take Bhagavad Gita for their own, but at least they can ensure they can give this Shastradan so that they get the benefit and also others get the benefit of Bhagavad Gita. So please ensure, have a look at the flyer. And on 23rd, there will be Gita Yagya. So we will pass on some more information. And as always, we also have the Gita recitation. So we'll also have that. So please stay tuned for more details. Those devotees who had sponsored Prasadam, please reach out to Somapati Haridas Prabhu and for the Mahaprasad. And a request is those who want to sponsor Prasadam, if possible, I mean, either give me the details, but ensure you pass on the Lakshmi to the accounts which is at the basement so that we can know who all are sponsoring Prasadam so we can announce and request prayers. But please ensure you collect Mahaprasadam from Somapati Haridas Prabhu who's standing here. So, Hare Krishna, we all, anything else?
Hare Krishna. So a little bit more regarding book marathon because it has started. Now our temple also has committed a certain number, about 11,000 books this year. So I think we should all come together and start our book distribution. So Vyasacharya gave a very wonderful introduction to book distribution. So Prabhupada will be very pleased if he distribute his books because as Prabhupada is saying that Prabhupada came here just to write books. In one conversation, Srila Prabhupada used to say that Krishna told me to go to this material world. I was not interested. I said no. Then Krishna said, you just go write books and come back. Then I agreed. So Prabhupada says like that. So he came here and he gave this wonderful nectar, Amrita of Krishna Katha in the form of his books. So let's read it and share it with others. So this wonderful time at Gita Jayanti month. So there are many ways which you can do book distribution. Right, some devotees, I saw some messages in the group. They went to this Banashankari metro station and they were standing on the street and distributing. Right, that's one of the ways. So you can put a table with Bhagavad Gita banner or something, and then keep books on the table, and put Hare Krishna mantra dhun, Gurupada dhun. That has very powerful effect. If you keep that, it attracts people. Then you give books to them. It goes. Just without kirtan, just standing sometimes may not work well. But if you have kirtan, it's wonderful. A team of 4 to 5 devotees can do like that. You can go to Jayanagar 4th block. There is a very happening place, especially on Saturday and Sunday evenings. Lot of people come there. You can also go to bus stands or railway stations to do book distribution. And you can also go to schools, like our Brahmachari team and the youths. We have started going to schools also. Like here are some of the photos. We are doing a value education contest. Gone. So we are doing value education contest where we are registering students to participate in the Bhagavad Gita competition, and it's coming. No. I just got disconnected, I think. Cast, stop casting. वायर है क्या इधर? Remove that. Yeah. That's all. So this value education contest we are doing all over India. This is happening in Bangalore also. We are doing, and we went to many schools, and they gave very good response. One school said, "I'll take 114 books." They said that we'll sponsor from the school side. So school is only paying, not collecting from children. Another school said, "We'll make it compulsory. When you'll take 600 books, but if you can reduce the cost to 100 rupees, means 100 rupees per child. Sponsorship for 600 means almost 60,000 rupees." Yeah, Shastradan will help in this. If we can collect Shastradan, then we can sponsor and give it to students at very, and they're all government schools. Very poor children or labor class people's children study there, and they're very eager to study. Right? Yesterday I went to one school, Sharda school. One Muslim came and asked, "Sir, can I take Bhagavad Gita?" I said, "Yeah, you can take. Any human being can take Bhagavad Gita." Yeah. So different school announcements. Some schools already we have distributed books, and still announcements are going on. And this week also many schools have given appointments, and it's lined up. We are going. So you can go to your friends, your contacts, your colleagues, and collect Shastradan. So you can please contact Rukmini Ranga Krishna Prabhu to deposit your Shastradan amount. And for issuing books, you can please contact the BBT Gordon or the gift stall. So from there you can take the books and make your small teams and go for book distribution throughout this week, throughout this whole month. And 23rd December, it's Gita Jayanti and also Vaikuntha Ekadashi. And that's the day where maximum book distribution happens in South India, because thousands of lakhs of people come to temples, all the Vishnu temples in India, in South India, lakhs of people come. So you can make team and book your slots in the you can talk to the local temple managements, ancient temples. You can go there, get permission for the stall, and issue books, and go early morning from 5 o'clock till late night. There is crowd. So whole day you can distribute, and fortunately that is holiday also. 23rd December is Saturday. Saturday, Sunday, 24th. 25th is again holiday. So it's a very good weekend. So good time for book distribution. So you can have a lot big scores on that weekend. So these are some of the thoughts. And if somebody has a birthday, somebody's wedding, or somebody's funeral, or tithi, or retirement, or housewarming, anything, any occasion you can say. Instead of giving some dry fruits or some other gifts or some photos, you can suggest them. Why don't you give Bhagavad Gita? So in that way, hundreds of Bhagavad Gitas can go to people's homes. Hare Krishna. So it is a great service to distribute our books to educational institutions. The more you do this, more you are recognized by Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. Hare Krishna. For more details, you can either contact His Grace Rukumira Krishna Prabhu or myself. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Marathon ki. Jai. Hare Krishna. And we had sent a poster of Narsimha mantra, right? Sankalpa card to chant, right? Ugram Veeram Mahavishnam Jwalantam Sarvadho Mukam Narasimham Bhishnam Bhadram Murtyur Namamiham. So, how many of you are daily chanting already? Please raise your hands. How many of you are already doing? Okay, so thank you. So, others who have not yet started, please start from today onwards. So this is a specific prayer to get back our property of Rajajinagar temple, which is officially all the properties of ISKCON, which has been taken away illegally. So to offer it back to the Srila Prabhupada. So there is a specific prayer for that, and worldwide this prayer is being chanted because since many years it is not happening. So let Narsingh Dev, if he blesses, then we will get it soon. Hare Krishna. Temple hall for Jagannath Ashtakam and then Prasadam.